South Bend has been making fine machines for a very long time. This lathe is from 1934, but I have a big problem with it. These control knobs are too close to the floor for my liking. Whenever I go to use the thing, I find myself having to bend down, or crouch, or do one of these. The simple solution is to build a stand with leveling feet and put the lathe on top of it. Now, building the stand is simple. Getting the lathe on top of it is another matter entirely. Hopefully you can tell from looking at the thing, but if you can't, let me assure you it is very heavy. For this project, I have two general rules that I'm working on. Number one is that I am not disassembling this thing. It's going up onto the stand in one piece. Now you might notice that the spindle is missing. I have that over on the bench because I'm working on the bearings. I'm going to be carefully replacing these shims with something proper because some lunatic made these out of paper. Absolutely not the right thing to use, in case you were wondering. My second rule is that I am not going to screw around with an engine hoist. So hopefully to all the people that were in the middle of typing a comment to the effect of, oh, why don't you just use an engine hoist? I'm not. There you go. That's my reason. This is the stand that I've built. It has 6 feet, 4 of which support the heaviest part of the lathe. Now, a very real concern that affects any stand that's going to go onto a poured concrete floor like mine is that the concrete is never perfectly flat. Especially in my case, because my lathe is actually near a floor drain. I can take my thin feeler gauge and show you how much of a dip there is. Now this feeler gauge is only a couple thousandths of an inch thick, but I assure you, all of that discrepancy is due to my floor and definitely not my welding. I recorded the build process in a location that was extremely loud, so what you're about to hear is a voiceover that was recorded later, and then we'll get back to the crappy audio. I'm doing this mostly because I think it's funny, but I am pretty particular about my wire length. Very particular. Forgot to turn the gas on here. Happens to the best of us, and the averagest of us. Now it goes without saying that off camera, I ground that weld out, cleaned the surrounding area, replaced the tip on the torch, even reground the tungsten on that TIG machine back there for good measure. After all, this is some major league shit I'm doing here. Now here's some fun cinematography for you. I balance my phone precariously inside my helmet. I'm leaning forward to keep it from falling off. And it's completely blocking my left eye. My lens is filthy too, so this looks like I shot it with a flip phone, but it was fun to do. Whoops, missed that corner. And here's a couple shots of me making an effort. See, I'm even doing that thing with my hand. This is one of the 6 leveling feet. I made these octagonal, mostly because I think it's amusing to have leveling feet for a lathe that aren't round. This shallow pocket is going to permit more intimate contact with my floor. Here it's flipped over to finish the bottom. I put those relief cuts in so when the waste piece breaks free, it doesn't spin around like pizza dough. I used a spiral tool path on top, just for that cool looking finish. And that socket will confine a leveling screw. I've always enjoyed spray painting. I'd be hard pressed to explain why, but it might have something to do with the ratio of effort to results. Pretty cool how I intentionally designed this thing to stand upright on its own, huh? So I got my buddy helping me today. Probably gonna lessen my chances of dying, or increase it. Now there's one lathe around here, which is actually pretty easy to move, thankfully. It looks like whatever the capital of Ukraine is in my shop. Don't show people this shit.
What's the total height to be achieved?
Right now, at this phase, we gotta get it up. I would probably guess that's, well, I shouldn't be guessing. I made the dang thing. I should know what it is. About 7 inches. 6.5 inches. It's 6.5 inches, but I call it 7.
Oh my god.
You know, give it a little smack, and you know, there you go. They're not sponsoring me. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
We're going to lose out on a place to put the lever. I thought we'd get away with this, but we're not. So actually, let's just take these 2 blocks out. And let's put blocks in there to preserve that height. I need a lever to get this up to get my thing in. All right, do you? Motherfucker.
Modify?
Improvise. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Why are you so heavy now?
Oh, you were rocking.
Oh, wait. I can fit the car jack over here. That looks stable.
That's what I'm wondering, if it's tilt safe or not.
Don't stand there then. I'm gonna leave this not quite engaged, but able to be engaged in a pinch.
Well, like my gravity thesis was saying earlier, like, it's heavy, it ain't moving, Newton's first law.
He lived like 1,000 years ago.
Or just,
And I know he didn't live 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm back at it the next day, and after watching some of the video I took, I realized that I can get some height for free over here if while I have this end lifted up, I put some blocks under here and then lower it, just like this. My wife is upstairs and has no idea what I'm doing down here, but I do know for a fact that the sound of a floor jack getting dragged across the floor does carry upstairs, so we'll see if I get a phone call. The next step is to lift the tailstock up a little bit, take out these blocks, and slide the stand in. This leg is visibly off center. These are similar width. Hopefully that will gain me the clearance I need to slide the stand in like so. What's the best way to avoid being crushed by something? Being a broom handle distance away from it. That side lines up well. That side lines up well. Those don't. Okay. Designed in America in the 1930s, and lo and behold, the fucking thing's not symmetrical. Finally on top of the stand, I just need to pull it back a couple inches. I've got something of a creative hydraulic jack setup here, usually a combination of words that you don't want to use. This is 6mm accessory cord, wrapped many times around the frame and around that pin, which I will absolutely admit is not okay. One leg of this cord is rated to around 1,900 pounds, maybe even a little over. So if anything breaks, it's not going to be the rope. Okay, time to quit while I'm ahead. Oh, maybe not. Seems to be empty. Oh well. Oh man, the strange sounds that my wife puts up with. Love you, honey. Next time you're drilling bolt holes for something that you desperately do not want to move, get one finished, and then throw a bolt in it. That'll make certain that your thing stays in place. I had the idea to add some material that might damp vibration and also bridge the gap between the underside of the cast iron pedestal and my immaculately flat tube weldment. And the best material I could stumble across were these absurdly cheap tie downs. Flat rubber, very, very tough, and this width is just about perfect. How cool is it that I can still reach in there? and the tailstock side is getting similar treatment. After quite a bit of work, which I am now ready to admit might have been made easier by the use of an engine stand, the lathe is up on the stand and bolted in place. The leveling feet will go on next, and then it's done. Have you ever gone into a project with a lot of enthusiasm, and then at some point in the middle you realize that the amount of effort you're expending is a lot greater than the reward you might gain? Yeah,